The NJSBA believes in the vigorous support and the rigid enforcement of federal and state laws pertaining to the sale, possession, and/or use of firearms and ammunition. And the NJSBA further believes that the federal and state government should be encouraged to enact additional statutes and regulations as determined necessary by the New Jersey School Boards Association Security Task Force to enhance and ensure the safety of our children in the school environment.
Jeff Fisher, Passaic County, Manchester Regional High School District Board of Ed. I move the resolution with the substitute resolve clause. I thought long and hard about how I was going to introduce this resolution. I could have slowly and dramatically read the names of the many, many young victims of gun violence in our country in the past year. I thought about, like the president, turning to the gallery and introducing the families of young victims that come to support gun control measures. Instead, I decided to be much less dramatic and share the advice of my first superintendent, Dr. D. Raymond Dorsey, at my first board meeting on February 21st, 1973, when I asked him what was my role as a board member. And he answered with 8 simple words: to educate our children in a safe environment. And in 1973 in Haledon, a safe environment to him meant a roof that didn't leak and glass windows that didn't shatter and blow into a 3rd grade classroom on a windy day. Today we know that a safe environment for our school children involves much, much more. I'm going to be brief. The time is late, but I would like to just remind everyone that the state of New Jersey has decided that we as board members have a responsibility, both as boards, board entities, and personally, individually, as elected office holders, to protect our children from all forms of harassment, intimidation, and bullying. Not just during the school day, but 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every day of the year. The state has said, you are responsible to protect those children from cyberbullying, any kind of bullying. And I would submit there is no higher level of bullying than the gun violence that is going on in our country today. And I'm not just talking about the gun violence that we're all aware of that happens in our schools. I'm talking about the gun violence that happens on the streets of our cities, the streets of our suburbs, even our rural roads, in the homes. This 4-year-old who finds 12 guns in his house that are loaded. I understand. I would just ask that we don't deny the responsibility of the Second Amendment, and we don't think that NJSBA, I would ask for an extension just for 30 seconds. Okay.
Time on the speaker, sorry. Thank you.
Thank you.
The first paragraph of the resolution, the NJA believes in the vigorous support and rigid enforcement of federal and state laws pertaining to the safe possession and sale, possession, and use of firearms and ammunition. That first paragraph could have been written by the NRA. That is the line of argument used by Wayne LaPierre and the NRA in every single public announcement or statement that they make, that we need to enforce what we already have on the books and we don't need any new laws. Why can we not take a stand on, let's say, background checks, an issue that 90% of the American public strongly supports, and according to a poll taken by conservative Republican pollster Frank Luntz, 70% of NRA members support that. Why are we shying away from supporting universal background checks? I don't understand it. Why are we shying away from saying that we don't want armor-piercing bullets to harm our police and first responders? In my 19 years as a prosecutor, we used to call them cop killer bullets because that's what they are. Why are we shying away from saying that? Why are we shying away from saying that we want stronger enforcement and penalties for gun trafficking? New Jersey already has strong laws, but the guns come in from Pennsylvania. They come in from Virginia. Why are we not taking a stand on these issues? There is a package of bills in front of the state legislature that are going to be acted upon on Monday, and they're going to go to the governor's desk. Why are we putting forth a resolution so weak?
It's
Pete Calvo, Glassboro Board of Education. I'm speaking against the amendment. As a former Marine, I'm really proud to have been served in our country. Our mission was always to protect those who couldn't protect themselves, and to protect freedom and democracy all over the world. As a civilized people, our most effective weapons are the laws we create as a democracy to protect life, liberty, and prosperity. This original resolution does propose support of enforcement of the Second Amendment, while at the same time, the related laws that we all collectively put together through our input in state and federal legislature. The resolution really affirms what we do as a delegates assembly, to come together and put forth ideas that are going to move our association ahead. Putting forth an amendment that spells out the 42 bills that are sitting in Trenton is not what we're supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be supporting and providing opportunities for this delegates assembly and the New Jersey School Boards Association to provide input in our feelings and what we need to do as educators. Not write the laws, but provide input for the laws. And I think the association did a great job of putting together a position statement that spells out our very responsibility with respect to this matter, and therefore I'm totally against the amendment to this resolution.
Thank you. The amendment fails. So we are back now on the main substitute policy language, which was presented by Mr. Fisher from the Manchester Board of Education.
Lee Rozicki, Lopakon Township, Warren County. A question really, to insert wording of the outcome of a task force, to me, those are actions that are on a limited basis. Should not the policy reflect actions that speak over time in general? So what happens when the task force is completed? Do you then go back and change and make that a different policy change?
The task force will, from what I understand, the task force will convene, and then based on any recommendations that they have, they would bring those recommendations to the delegate assembly for policy adoption or bylaws adoption or whatever their recommendations were.
I don't think that the determination as to what is necessary should be made by the School Security Task Force, and I think that probably more appropriately, if we took that language out and just had it read something like, to enact such additional statutes and regulations as may be necessary to enhance and ensure the safety of our children in the school environment, without the reference to the School Security Task Force, I think that's a much better proposal. But I leave that as to whether it should have a formal amendment.
Pete Calvo, Glassboro Board of Education. Just want to, in furtherance of Ray's suggestion, I'm going to make a motion to change or delete on line number 10, NJSBA School Task Force, strike that and replace it with association. So the intent of the belief statement still registers. Changing the task force to association will maintain that statement for posterity.
Okay, so we have now all stakeholders in there in addition to the association. So we're back on the resolution with those two amendments in there. That resolution passes. Thank you, and thank you, Mr. Fisher and Manchester Board of Ed, for bringing that forward.